Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Brismlan, and today we're continuing with some Hades. Yes, it's been a bit of a while since I've actually played some. We got three, so we'll unlock both the aspects so we can do it. Special becomes a Blit Disc. We can Bull Rush, but I rather just keep the standard one because I like that better than most. Although, actually, we can try. Nah, we'll leave it for now. So we could try doing something interesting, but you know, we'll leave it for now. Do we go Adamant Arrowhead? Should we go Adamant Arrowhead? We should probably try and get some of these like leveled up, to be honest. But like that involves me having to like pick stuff I don't normally want to pick, and then I get really annoyed that I have to pick that stuff. Bloodfield Vial, let's go. Yes, it has been a while since we played some Hades, to be honest. And that is kind of my own fault. Yeah, but it has been a bit my fault, to be honest. And there's not really much I can do about that. Man, we haven't even defeated it on stage 1. That is ridiculous. Let's do that then. Let's do that with the shield, because that is terrible. I thought we did everything.
What's the worst that could happen? Look what I found.
But yes.
Trust that Thanatos is doing well, although he brings to mortals merciful release. Whilst I most certainly do no such thing, I do appreciate his take on it.
Special Inflict Doom, thank you very much.
Bloodshed, then.
That's exactly what we wanted, because I like this shield with this particular playstyle.
Going in.
Ascend. Let us descend.
Oof.
You come to my domain, an all-seeing artifact that sprang from me after the dawn of time. It is considered a defensive instrument, I do believe. Though I suspect you have discovered, or soon shall discover, it is nothing of the sort.
Extra one of those. Special does more damage, yes please, but I have less speed. Let's go. I am as slow as a snail. But yeah, kind of been sorting stuff out for the meantime, really. Had a lot of odd jobs to do recently. Got to go through all those, make sure we get everything sorted on that front, make sure I can actually relax a little bit and not worry. I have managed to request a little extra day off on work, just so I can get some more personal effects sorted before some time away with the family, you know? Which will be nice. And I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. It's going to be entertaining, and what more can you say, right? Entertainment. Although saying that, I still have yet to get clear of this kind of like coldness that I've got currently. Which is starting to really get under my skin a little bit. But other than that, I think I'm enjoying stuff more again. You know, in more higher spirits.
Pretty close with Ares, aren't you? And here they said it couldn't be done. If I were you, I'd watch myself with him.
Well, thank you. Do we take pressure points? Let's take pressure points, why not?
The dead had better hide.
And we got the upgrade to my boon, I think. So my specials deal more damage, plus then the fact that the thing occurs, like that's really good. Heal up.
This part.
Let's move on. HP, HP. So yeah, I know I've been on a bit of a moaning streak recently with a lot of stuff, but yeah, no, I'm British. I have to moan about every last little thing because that's who I am. No, I jest on that front. Well, kind of. Like, we do moan about a lot of things, and it's pretty much in our nature at this point to moan about stuff. But the thing that I end up moaning about most of the time is the I always hate stuff that ends up being unfair. Regardless of who it's unfair to, I'm not a fan of just like unfair circumstances or stuff like that, because at the end of the day, for me, it kind of like it becomes disappointing, and it kind of like doesn't mix well with goodwill.
Hey, Zach, how is life? You're hanging in there, yeah? I reckon maybe we could raise a glass here to your health, but then I thought, no way, I can do a little more than that. So here we go.
I thought he was going to give me like a legendary boon. That'd been really nice if he was going to do that. I guess all fountains give me 4% extra damage, could be pretty good. And extra healing. I also got a revisit on this, the some of the challenges. Been practicing kind of like in my free time on them, which is kind of the reason why I haven't done any recording with Hades for a bit, because I've been trying to practice those runs and stuff to get like, well, kind of record them but practice, and they haven't been going very well because I do terribly at the game. You know, it's a frozen mode special, right? Either plays terribly or gets really bad luck. That's what happens. There's no in between. Sometimes he plays terribly and gets bad luck. Well, that's a show to see. But yeah, I'm getting annoyed with like essentially stupid people doing stupid things, right? I say people, it's more like companies in general, and like it's kind of nice to see some backlash for companies that are probably going to dig themselves to a hole that they can no longer get out of, right? Like, one of the big things for me, and especially seeing as I ended up like working with a lot of companies and stuff, doing a fair amount of freelance work and stuff,
Who's better at this, Zagreus?
is that I'm really against the idea of not hiring the best person for the job just because you need someone to fill a quota, right? I've always been in the belief that if the best person for the job is whatever minority group you need to hire to fit your quota, that's fine. If they're not, you shouldn't hire them. And a lot of companies didn't really listen to any of those advices and stuff, because why would they, right? They need to know better. Come on, Thanatos, that was so unfair.
What chance did they have?
Increase Doom or increase the crit. Should I try and see if I can increase this crit like to a really high level? No, don't be stupid. Just increase the Doom and move on. Thank you for the help, brother.
Bye.
And the problem with it is a lot of companies end up like,
Why, look who's here, Baldy.
Baldy.
Sisyphus. Not just for all the help you've given me time after time, but for encouraging me to have a chat with Baldy there. I dare say I feel a little more at peace of late, and maybe it's thanks to him.
He's a good one, all right, isn't he? Though if you've come to such an understanding with old Baldy there, why, it must mean you've done some growing on your own as well, I think. Here you are.
thank you. Gift Baldy.
Cheers, Baldy. Thank you for brightening my day or night. Good chat.
We all know that Sisyphus is just the one getting like 2 versions of that every single time I do it, right? And I give it to him and the Baldy. Ooh, we don't have enough of both. So do I go for the weapon upgrade, or... Yeah, I go for the weapon upgrade, don't I?
Should help keep me going.
I'll take that. I probably won't use it.
My shield grows
And what it is, it's this, the Bull Rush. Which means I can at least got some to waste damage armor if I need to.
Is it going to be? Electo.
Good. something, Red Blood? Try as I might, I still have not forgiven you for beating me last time. Call it a crippling character flaw, I don't know.
Forgiveness can take time, though self-reflection is a healthy step. We're making progress.
You think we're making progress? Here? Oh, you piece of trash. I'll show you progress.
Oh yes, please. So yeah, like It is one of the things I always got annoyed with them after a while. Like, yeah, if you should only really be hired for a job if you've got the skill set, not because of some random group. And I got really annoyed with, like, especially a lot of American universities expecting, like, special students because of the same issue. It's like, oh, you're not a minority, so therefore you can. Internships, the same issue as well. That happened quite a lot. Mainly in America, it was always an issue because, you know, that's where most things go. UK wasn't so much of an issue, but you did pop up every now and again. And I hate to say it, but I'm a really big numbers guy. Like a massive numbers guy. But I'm also a person that tends to not trust the numbers. Like, just as they're set, I need to know where the data is coming from, what the data means, what it represents, the whole thing about it.
Keep going. Which to choose?
Yeah, let's get the poison grog. Let's try that.
Might help.
So I will tend to nitpick data quite a lot, and this can be data from all different aspects of things and stuff, and I don't like it when emotional arguments become part of logical arguments, because as a logical person, I can't win an emotional argument, even if I win the logic behind that emotional argument, right? I can be right, but because it's an emotional argument, I tend to end up losing because, yeah, let's just put it that way. And it's not like I don't see the issues that are there, like I generally do understand them, I empathise with them as well. Like massive things between like gender wage gaps and diversity within the workplace, all those things are very important, and you know, there needs to be some limitations on making sure that the right people get the right jobs, right? And when I mean, like, when I say the right people get the right jobs, it's all about the best person for that job. Doesn't matter what their race is, what their gender is, what their ethnicity is, what their sexuality is, or stuff like that. It makes no difference. If you got the qualifications for the job and you're the best candidate out there for it, you get the job. That's exactly how it should work. But it doesn't. And it doesn't work like that both ways. So there were a lot of discrimination lawsuits that came about, which made sure that companies couldn't just hire the white bloke, which, for good or bad, yes, those people did deserve it. Yes, there was discrimination, everything else as well. But because now people are generally worried about hiring the white bloke for getting sued for any particular reason, because maybe not because of, let's just say, the cases had grounds, but they were more of a warning than they should be of actually a lawsuit kind of thing, maybe. I don't follow all the cases and stuff, but it's that kind of idea of like, you know, like, yes, okay, you know, you should be aware, and by the looks of your workplace is probably a little bit more white-centric or male-centric, you know. So if you have the capacity to hire someone from other groups, you should take their application seriously, basically. Which in some cases they were brushed aside because of one stupid white man. Normally an older white man, I might point out. The issue now is that you've got it going a bit the other way, where the white man won't get hired because they got a diversity quota to fill, and if he says anything against it, bad stuff happens to him.
I get you something for the road there, hon.
Level... yeah. Raritize my 2 boons that I have, please.
Cheers.
So I get an extra crit on that straight away, and we just get more damage on that.
Take
See you.
Like, discrimination happens everywhere, wherever you go, and it's very frustrating for people, especially when I see it, where it's like one person will say, "Oh yeah, that's discriminatory," and then just instantly say something discriminatory against another group. And you're like, yeah, you'll know better. You're just using that as a protection to make sure that, you know, you somehow get advantage over stuff, and that's all it is. It's about which group has the advantage over the other, and it's an absolute nightmare because no one wants someone to have the advantage over them, but at the same time they want the advantage themselves. They can't just let it go. It's never that simple. You know, it's this issue of, like, I think I believe there's a religious text where one famous religious bloke said it, which was, "An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind." And yet we still have not learnt this phrase very well. You know, turn the other cheek, isn't it? Or whatever the full phrase was, which was probably misinterpreted ages ago. Attacks inflict hangover could be useful. But taking some less damage could be useful as well. You know, there's no way that you can interpret something anymore without giving an advantage to one side or the other. And by doing so, you get labels, and human beings, we love putting labels on stuff, and it is very annoying. Like, we can't just better ourselves, we have to put someone else down while doing it, right? Like, that is generally the problem with us as a society overall now. Do we go down the hole? So I got HP, which could be actually pretty useful. Treasure, that. All gold. We'll dump down the hole.
In the name of Hades.
Next 3 encounters, my life total is reduced by that, but afterwards everything else is worth more. Seems great, but eh. Each time I attack, that's fine. Like, an extra variety on the boons could be a lot better. Just don't attack. Maybe get my special up would be nice. Special is faster, brilliant. The exact thing I wanted. But yeah, I nitpick a lot in data as well, and what the data represents. I'm a data analyst, it's what I do for a job. So
How was the magma temperature lately, Lerny?
it's one of the phrases where correlation does not equal causation. It is a phrase that will come up quite a lot. And into this day and age, just because you have data that represents one thing, you have to make sure that there's not something else that's causing the data to look like that, right? So I've done a fair amount of analytics on a lot of businesses and the gender pay differences and stuff like that. But then what I also do is I put a key next to it and classify what level roles everyone is working at, and then basically sort of like credential levels from like basic workers to upper management to middle management, and essentially what the company classed as those roles at. So they get basically stages within the business of what those roles represent. And then I will base the overall gender pay differences within the company as a whole, and on each of those levels individually, because it's very important that we turn around and represent those. And that is based on differences between annual salary to salary per hour. Like, I went through all that data and everything else as well. And I will tell you now, overall, when it came down to it, apart from the lack, I would say this, apart from the lack of maybe female upper management compared to male upper management, there were very marginal differences between pay structure. And when then you looked at the contracts for those said individuals and stuff like that, which an investigation is always done,
That was from chaos.
what ended up happening was you found out that mainly it was because those women requested more time off in comparison to the men within those structures. So that's why they had lower pay standards, like across the year for their annual pay. The differences were made up by the extra holidays they had.
Don't come back.
Not all of them like that, and you know, I did tell them some of them beforehand and reported it to the authorities after submitting that, and they changed their pay structure to make sure it was more inclusive of other things as well. It's a whole nightmare about it because there's the hearings and stuff you end up having to submit the reports for, and
I'm already full. Should I take
you
this
know,
raid?
and there are
Closer.
dodgy companies that will try to do naughty things to try and not get fined. Put it that way. We'll say that much about it. Can't say any more than that because of legal stuff, but it is not unheard of. Like, it does exist. It is a big problem, but in some cases not as a big problem as, say, just paying everyone equally in the first place. Because those were the things that I put on there, is like, you know, what is the what's the expected minimum wage to live off in most areas and stuff, and then what are you paying them based upon those areas? And then suddenly it's like, oh, you don't even pay them a bloody basic wage to live off. So yeah, stuff the male and gender pay gap. How you pay everyone the minimum wage? After blocking a foe, bull rush gains power, deals 500%. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
He just grows stronger. Oh, should not have done that.
But yeah, the thing is all the stuff they've kind of went one side too far, pretty much. Like this idea of like differences between who's left and who's right and stuff like that. Like the arguments are pretty bland when it comes down to it. America's far right anyway, just who's right and who's less right. Which some people argue over that point, and that's fine. Like, this is the whole point. It's how you develop politics. Like, if we can't talk and have a discussion about stuff like that, and why those end up causing issues for a lot of other reasons, then at which point you're kind of no better than just telling me off for no particular reason, right? You're not really benefiting and no one else is. You're just belittling someone because of that you have power. It's better to have proper discussions.
Neutrality was not an option here.
That's pretty good, actually. But that's really good.
Ah, good. Just when I had almost forgotten what an arrow to the back felt like.
Sorry, Artemis. You're not my favourite, but...
Let's give her a show then.
But yeah, I'm kind of getting fed up with a lot of companies and stuff like that, and it's always the it's the corporate speak. Like, it's got to the point now wherever I hear the corporate words, I just switch straight off. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. Like, and you think like I'm really done with it, but like it just gets worse every time I hear it. my favorite one is if you're a company and this is the thing that I always find hilarious. So I can say this to the moment because YouTube doesn't pay me anything, so they can't take my money away. So YouTube has this really bad attitude when it comes to putting adverts on their websites and stuff and on top of videos. One, their vetting of the adverts are not up to code whatsoever. Not whatsoever.
Just now, Zagreus. You passed my little test, so now we're good. Just like it never happened.
You say so. Actually do a crit damage from mark a near foe. Yeah. I guess that's probably the best one if I do get crits somewhere else. But yeah, if like I have seen YouTube put adverts up that can play blatant lies. And with like VPN and stuff, I love seeing the stupid adverts they put on there, which are definitely illegal.
Come on out. Got me a car.
Because they're advertising. I think some of my favourite ones are a person has a medical condition that requires medical intervention through medicines and treatments. Yeah. Like they actually require it to live and to function as a normal member of society. And this advert was saying the fact that you don't need all that stuff. You can do it with willpower. Right? I mean, it's like going back to the days of like curing mental diseases by electrotherapy. Like, what are you guys on to believe that these illnesses can be solved by willpower alone? Like, I generally know that, like, that stuff. I'm like, how does YouTube even allow that advert to exist on their website? Like, it's giving misinformation. It's lying to people about that information. And then also probably causing the loss of life and also making people feel more stressed about the issues they're suffering with because they see an advert like that and their issues are being downplayed. Like, it's horrible. It's the worst thing. And yet YouTube allows it on the websites. But the moment that I say a swear word in front of a video, I would instantly get demonetized if I was making money from this video. Right? Within 8 seconds. But they'll allow that stuff. And I've seen ones where they literally are selling drugs. Like, illegal drugs as well, not like the whole prescription stuff and things like that. I'm like, oh yeah, great, you know, that sounds absolutely amazing. Sell addictive substances. Sorry about that freeze there, guys. YouTube's onto me. No, I joke about that one. But, yeah, for awkward time to have a freeze on my entire recording bit, like, nah, YouTube's hacked my laptop. They're gonna try and shut me up because I'm letting all their secrets come out. But, like, for me it's easy because my livelihood doesn't come from YouTube, so I can badmouth whoever I want. I got that freedom to be able to do that. The issue is just, like, by bad-mouthing stuff, I do have to accept the repercussions of my actions. It is a general thing. Am I protected by free speech? Yes, but if there are stuff where it's kind of like, you know, what I say is illegal with an illegal outcome, then technically, yes, I can be prosecuted for those sort of things. Everything I said is not illegal. It's genuine knowledge. You can look this stuff up.
Much better.
I advise people to do so as well. You know, do your own research. Don't trust one guy on the internet. What I mean, do your own research. Find actual articles that represent the stuff, and then find the articles that counter those articles, and read through those as well. Part of debating 101 is know your opponent. The best thing you can do is not only read the articles to support your idea, but read the articles that disprove your idea and actually learn from what they're saying. If you can't disprove your opponent's ideas, therefore your idea is wrong. It's simple as. If it's opinion-based, then you need to know how to counter stuff, so that's why you read both, right?
Sorry guys, no messages this time. I guess that's what happens when your whole existence is kept secret from the world.
God, gauge fills up quicker. That is really good. Quick favor. I like that.
Right along.
But yeah, I mean, but it is just funny that the security on content creators is higher than their own ad department, right? That's because the ads make the money, but content creators lose the money. So why would YouTube improve the lifestyle of people that takes their money, right? It's just like, it's the point 101, right? If people take my money, why would I improve their lifestyle?
God's grant me strength.
It sounds terrible when you say it like that, but that generally is exactly what it does, you know. That is YouTube's entire priority, is to make as much money as possible. So if they can get away with not paying you money, they will get away with not paying you money. Because that's easier, right? Because funny enough, it's easier for them to get out of an agreement with an advertiser because they did something illegal after they've accepted to advertise for them than it is to vet those advertisers and also, you know, protect content creators on the platform. But then I also see it from the company side, like trying to protect as many content creators on YouTube is nigh impossible. But sometimes there could be better systems to handle those sort of requests and stuff, and yeah. It's a catch-22, right? You help out one by punishing the other. At the end of the day, you got to go where the money is. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
Let's hunt some dead.
You got to go where the money is. If you don't go where the money is, then you're an idiot. Which leads me back into why companies feel the need to not advertise to the major populace.
Prepare to be sent back into the depths whence you came.
I do find it hilarious, right?
All who came to see us fight, thank you. Now it is abundantly apparent that you are beneath me, fiend. Face me.
Like, it baffles me that the world and everything else as well will decide to advertise to a minority group rather than advertise to essentially the bigger populace to make them more money. I'm generally am sorry for it, like, it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I made a company that sold cheese, right, and suddenly everyone in the world was lactose intolerant, my attitude to those people is not to turn around and just say they're all faking it and basically, what's the word? Gaslight them. That's it.
From my authority. Showed them who's boss, didn't we, Shade?
Gaslight them. Yeah, I shouldn't go around gaslighting all the lactose intolerant people because they won't buy my cheese. What I should be doing is advertising to the people that do like my cheese. You know, that enjoy having cheese, and target stuff around advertising to people that enjoy eating cheese. But no, most major companies, their standard idea is to essentially belittle people in every way which way they can imagine for not liking the product they make, which is just backwards, because at that point then the people that do like your stuff will not like your stuff because you're picking on people for no reason. And generally that's what it is. It's like, you know, I don't like your product, so because I don't like your product for very valid reasons, such as it's not a very good product, apparently I'm an ism in some shape or description. Now this might be a little bit late in the video to get to it, but I'll probably have a discussion I come back to later. So, I'm a person that played through Star Wars Outlaws, right? Played through it, and as far as the game goes, it's a game, it functions. I enjoyed my time with it. It was not amazing, it was very mediocre all the way through. Generally mediocre. There were points where I literally pulled my hair out at it for bad game design. And if I was going to tell someone to look at this game, I would not tell them to buy it. I would say, do not buy this game, it's not worth your money. Do I think that I had a bad time with the game overall? Yes, but like, I've bought games with far worse. Like, generally, there are far worse games I have played and paid more money for, right? Now, as for my whinging and stuff, right? If you haven't played it or anything else as well, and you want to know the story, but play the game, look up the story, do whatever you want, because I am going to throw some spoilers out there. So, some point in like some of the games, in some of the missions, especially for a couple of them, right? They have two like important female characters, right? And I think they're quite interesting. One of them is a bounty hunter trying to hunt you down, which I thought was very interesting. And that kind of came to a point where you had a point of camaraderie with them to basically get off the planet, right? Which is very interesting. It was a nice way to go about that sort of thing. Like, I am not going to dismiss a good idea when I see it. The implementation was poor. Now, why do I say this? Because there's no real reason, except for them both to get off the planet, to agree with each other, right? So, if I put two women in a room that hate each other, I'm expecting loads of bitchy, snarky comments. Sorry for my language, but genuinely that's what I'm expecting, right? I'm not expecting them to both get along, I'm not expecting them to be happy about the situation, I'm expecting to kind of, like, argue their point off. But instead what I got was a form of camaraderie, which isn't bad, but the issue is there's no subtext for that. There's nothing beyond, other than the fact they're forced to work together, that's causing this to happen, right? And then another part of the story involves you kind of, like, following along with a plan of a leader of one of the groups, which, you know, is kind of interesting. You get betrayed, you get manipulated. You don't get really backstabbed because you were manipulated into doing the thing they want you to do anyway, regardless of the outcome, right? Which was really interesting. Saw it coming a mile away. Was very meh as a plot point. But the issue is with that and the other interaction I found out is if Kay Vess, the main character of the story, had been a man, you could have had a hint of flirtatious undertones with both of those interactions, which would have made the interactions far more entertaining as a story going. Like, genuinely, it would have made their reactions more human. It would have humanized a lot of the characters and made me kind of enjoy the story more, right? Which is kind of hilarious when I say that, because it was just one of those things. And then, like, one of the first guys that you meet when you get off, like, the main tutorial planet and stuff, I forget his name because he was that unforgettable. Like, he betrays you for no particular reason, knowing that working with you is probably going to get him killed. Right? So there's a guy that you saved, and because you got a nice ship, he betrays you because he thinks he's going to get the ship, to a guy that clearly was never going to help him out in the end point anyway. And I was just like, this betrayal seems like a very thinly completed plot point of just to get a move on. I was like, well, why couldn't he just be, like, part of my crew? Right? Like, why did he have to betray me? He didn't need to betray me. Like, there was no need for it. It doesn't add to the plot whatsoever, except to kill him off. He was helping me out. He liked the ship. He was doing maintenance on it. Oh, we got away. I may have not liked the character, but there was no need to get rid of him. Yeah, I'm sorry, like... Like, the game... I didn't find any massive glitches with it or stuff like that. I found a very annoying boss fight with the Rancor, and I will pick that out as well, because it was so awfully designed. And we'll talk about it in a moment when we get through this, but... You fish.
I thought you might arrive right about now. Then let us have our fight.
So, in the Rancor arena, there is a molten conveyor belt of molten metal, like, going around the arena, and you're meant to shoot it with the Rancor underneath it, so the fact that it will essentially drop that stuff on the Rancor, so it basically transitions into a rage phase, at which point you lead it into the door to allow you to escape, right? So you don't really defeat the Rancor as make it rush into a door. Which is fine, like, it's not bad. The issue I have with it is, one, the Rancor really closed the gap down to the point where you really couldn't avoid taking hits. Like, it would hit you randomly for no particular reason. It was very annoying. And I know this was poorly designed because instead of actually, like, designing a proper boss fight, do you know what ended up happening was? There was a delightful checkpoint system in the boss fight. And I generally mean that. So after you make the boss hit the wall, like, once, the door once, whatever, there's a checkpoint. And then when you make it do it again, there's another checkpoint. And then when you do it again, there is another checkpoint. And there is probably a way to get past this, say, without being hit. Right? Not that any speedrunner would ever attempt this game in the first place. But like, I don't think you can do that without taking a hit, right? And that's why they got the checkpoints there, because they knew it was such a bad boss fight. They were like, stuff it. Well, you know, we'll just add checkpoints to the boss fight so they can at least, like, do one phase without getting hit. Because the boss will literally one-shot you. So you might run it like 3 or 4 times just to get past this Rancor, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel like outdoorsy, do you?
No holding back. This is for your own good.
Geometry. But yeah, like, generally that's the one thing that I got really annoyed by, like, 100%, right? Like, I generally don't care about anything else, but that's the one thing that I was just like... I was like, yes, poor design, here we go. This is the Ubisoft I remember. What annoys me the most, right, is that I used to love Ubisoft games as a kid growing up. Like, they were so ingenious, ingenuitive. They really thought about stuff. Like, they were good design games, and now I just feel like we get rubbish, which leads back to, like, you know, randomly hiring people that don't fit the job role and the specifications, and then the good people kind of getting kicked out of the industry because they don't conform to the idea the company has about what people should be working for them, right? Ah, I took a hit. My bad.
Oh, damn it.
You.
But yeah,
You bested me. I'll grant you, Zagreus. Well done, boy.
like, I could be wrong on some of the stuff, and I don't mind being proven wrong, and people give me evidence to the contrary and stuff, which is fine.
Father's name.
But, like, on that game, that's generally how I felt. It was so frustrating. Let's fish. You know?
Mine. Is this a trout?
Yes, it is.
As he journeys to his mother's cottage in the cold, loudly speaking Zagreus calls out to hear the echo of his voice. The blast of sound, causing a substantive amount of ice and snow to break off from a nearby mountaintop and fall, and... No!
Got killed by an avalanche.
I'm back. Huh.
Interesting indeed.
Hello? There's no escape, in case you hadn't heard.
Sure.
Zagreus.
It was my duty to prevent him from getting farther. If I succeeded, he never would have found you. So this once, I'm glad I failed. I hope you know that, my queen.
I hoped, but did not know for certain till I heard from you just now, Overseer Megara. And, if I may, I understand you have achieved an awful lot since I took my, leave of absence from this house. I see why Nyx and Hades put their trust in you.
Thank you, my queen. Then if there's anything else that I can do to help you reacclimate yourself, I'm always at your service. You are most welcome here.
Man, that's art style I haven't seen. A smile.
Likewise, you be sure to let me know if my son there happens to make more trouble for you than you welcome in your life. All right?
As you say.
One thing before you depart again, boy. Until the Queen's intentions with Olympus come to pass, not a word to anyone about her presence here. Do you understand?
Yes, father.
I do. But she won't have to hide forever.
But yeah. I nitpick on a lot of stuff, and I've been moaning about a lot of stuff recently, but I just have stuff that has been grating and is like annoying me into my skin, you know? It's small things that are very annoying, and it's not that like they're ridiculous, because they generally aren't. But it's stuff where it's kind of
Here's the commission. A hideous rendition of a grizzled skeleton seems suitable to core.
May it strike fear into these worthless shades.
gilded pedestals.
Let's go with this one then. This thought-provoking piece seems like a decent conversation starter for the hall.
What is that utterly preposterous design?
What do you mean preposterous?
How about this, contractor? I think those pedestals over there are just a bit too modest for my tastes.
I do suppose that gold suits those sufficiently.
But yeah, like I'll nitpick until the cows come home, because that's essentially what I do. It's shortcut.
Let's go with this. Well, maybe I can use this to avoid Father's withering gaze and unwanted feedback.
You think you can avoid me through there, boy?
Yes, I wasted gems on a shortcut. What are you talking about?
Here's the commission. Think this is going to be a better look for the lounge seating.
Green is perhaps last among the list of colours I would have selected.
Okay, nitpick much.
Approved. Oh yes, more comfortable seating I shall never use.
I'd better not catch anybody sitting down on that.
What are you talking about? I think it's great.
Hey Orpheus, the keepsake that you gave me. It's come in useful, thanks. I can't quite see what's in the container though. I shouldn't open it, should I?
No, Zagreus. Unless, of course, you wanted to set loose a cherished living memory of mine and take from me that fleeting bit of joy.
Didn't think so.
The prince! Miss Nix! I'm not supposed to talk to you. I have to go.
Damn it.
Nix, come on, that's not fair.
The Olympians can't really see me, can they, Nix? I mean, not very well. I get that they can sense details here and there, but they don't know the full extent of what's going on. Are we really so far beyond their influence?
You are enshrouded from them, child. For your own benefit and theirs. They know as much as necessary to assist. And I trust they shall, for as long as you require. They are bound to one another as family. And they know that you require aid. Do not be too prideful to accept.
I won't.
Very interesting. I don't need more keys. Like, keys are completely pointless for me at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, I nitpick over stuff all the time because, you know, British. And some of the stuff I say will be completely erroneous and ridiculous. Other bits will actually have some value to them. So I always say, take whatever I say with a pinch of salt, because, you know, it's stuff you got to figure out all ourselves, right? It's never, nothing is ever black or white. It's all shades of grey, except for extremism. But yeah. Oh, thanks again for listening to all my random ramblings, my moaning and whinging. You know, I do it a lot recently, but we'll get over it. You know, stuff will pass, and, you know, hopefully we'll get some bright news someday soon. Anyway, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.